Hello everyone, welcome back to Microservices full stack project. So in today's video we are gonna build a task service for our project. So let's go to Spring Initializer and create new project and then start. Okay, so let's search for Spring Initializer. Let's open this website and from here let's choose Maven for our project. Then Spring Boot version I will be make it default. Then instead of example I will write here Josh. Then artifact I will give task service. Okay, task service. Then name will be also task service, and let's give here description task service for task management and package name I'll be write only com.jos. Okay, packaging will be jar and our Java version is 17. Then let's add some dependency. First I will add Spring Web, then let's add Spring Boot dev tool, also will use Lombok, and then discovery client also will use, guys. Okay, Eureka discovery client. Then what let's add the dependency for connecting our database MySQL. So MySQL driver class, or maybe MySQL driver. Okay, MySQL driver. Then data JPA, Spring data JPA. So Spring Web, Spring Boot dev tool, Lombok, Eureka discovery client, MySQL driver, Spring data JPA. Anything else we need? I don't think so. Open client, of course. Feign client we will use. Open Feign client, Spring Boot, Spring Cloud routing, declaring REST client. Open Feign creates a dynamic implementation of interface decode with okay guys, so why we need Open Feign? So using Open Feign will communicate with our between our microservices, different microservices. So this is our task service. Okay, we are gonna create here our task service. So using Open Client, our task service, Task Microservice can communicate with our user microservice or submission microservice. Okay, of course submission microservices are not created yet, but in the upcoming videos we are will create it. So yeah, using Open Feign client, it will be able to communicate with our user service and submission microservice or any other microservices. So yeah, that's why we are going to use Open Feign. Now let's generate our project. So let's click here, and what I'm gonna do here, let's go to our YouTube directory, then project directory where it is here, and let's go to microservices, task management, and here task service. Okay, let's save it. Let's open this, extract this folder, then yeah, let's maximize it and let's extract all. And now what I'm gonna do is let's go to here. I guess yeah, here you can see project is already added, and let's load this project. So load Maven project, and what I'm gonna do here, my project is not appear, right? Task services. So I will go to here, I will add here that project. So task service. Okay, okay. Okay, wait, let's go to here, let's cut it out here, Control V. Also let's cut it out here, and Now what I'm gonna do, I don't need this task service, so let me delete it. And I don't need this as well. Let's delete this as well. Now let's go to here. Okay, I guess now I can let me close this and open it again. New window, of course. Let's go to here. Why it's not giving us okay, I guess I need to delete it first. Close this. Okay, and let's delete this idea. And now let's open it. New window. Load project. Load our projects. Reading Maven projects. Okay. Let's give it some time and wait. How much time you will take? Please be fast. And yeah, our both projects are ready. So now let's go to here. We can start our user service and task service as well. So let's start. Enable. We don't need it. Yeah guys, so it says that failed to determine a suitable driver class. So let's provide a driver class, suitable driver class. So what I'm gonna do is I will go to src, then main class and this YAML file. Okay, so I will copy this configuration from our previous project, that is nothing but task user service. Okay, now let's go to src main resource, and I will change it, change the name, new refactor, rename from properties to YAML. Okay, let's refactor it. Let's go to here, let's paste it. So first thing I will do is I will change the port, make it 2, then I will change the name, so it's gonna be task service. Then third things what I'm gonna do is I will change the database name. So guys, we need to create one database for task service. So let's copy this thing. Let's open our MySQL command line. Then let's log in. And let's create a database. Create database. And instead of task user service, here I will give only YouTube task service. That's it. So let's create it. Okay, you can see one row affected, our database is created. Now let's change the name here as well. All right. Now what I'm gonna do is let me go to my previous project and let me stop all my projects. Okay. And let me stop user service, I guess. Eureka survey, let it be. But yeah, let's close this user service as well. Okay. Or maybe let's stop all the projects, because now we don't need it. Stop. Is there any project is running? No, all these are closed. Now let's run this project. Okay, you can see our project is running fine, but there is a one error that is saying cannot execute request on any unknown server. So as I told you guys in previous video, we are using here Spring Cloud, Starter, Netflix, Eureka client, but we haven't provided any configuration that you should go to this server and connected. Okay, so that's why it's confused. It's saying that where should I go to and connect it. I didn't find any known server, so it says unknown server. Okay, so let me comment it out. When we implement Eureka server, that time we'll comment it out. Till now, let me comment it, and let's make these changes, and let's go back to our project. Now let me close all this because now we don't need it. And yeah, let me refresh it once, and let's start then. Let's open Java, and let's create here one new package. So package will be model. Here we'll write our all the models. So let's write our task model first. Task. Okay, let's annotate it with entity, then data, then all arch constructor, no arch constructor, okay. So some of the fields we need to add here: ID, title, description, image, status. Those are, let's add it. So first, private long ID. Okay, we need to annotate it with ID, and also we need to generate this value automatically. So we need to annotate it with generated value, generation type, a strategy, and generation type auto. All right. Now let's give it title as well. Then let's give description as well. Description. Then let's give image. Then let's give assigned user ID. Okay. Private, then let's give it tags. So tags will be list of string. So tags is nothing but guys, tag stack. What are the tag stack you want to use for this task? So that are, okay, new array list, and let's import this list. Also let's import this array list. Okay, now let's write one more field for deadline. So it's nothing but local date time. So deadline. Also we have created it, so it's gonna be also local date time created at. And one more thing guys, we need to add here nothing but task status. Okay, so task status. So status we are gonna make it guys enum. Okay, so let's go to here, let's create one class, not class, it's gonna be enum. So let me create here, or maybe let's create inside this model as well. So let's class here, let's create enum, and task status, we'll give it task status. Okay, pending, and here we'll give pending. Then our assign, other status will be assign. done. Okay, and let's create here our no args constructor. So let's hover here, directly create constructor. Painting, what is saying? Too many characters in the. Okay, so like this it should be. All right, so our task status is ready. Now let's go to task model. Is there any fields in pending? No, that's it. So now let's create the services for this. So new, but before that I need to create one package. So let's go to here and create new package. That is nothing but services. So service, inside this let me create task service. Task service. Okay, let's write all the methods which we will need for task. So first we need create task. So create task, it will take task, then string request a role. Throws exception. Okay, and it should be interface instead of class. So let me change it. Now task, get task by id. So get task by id, long id, and throws exception. If we didn't find any task by this id, provided id, then we'll throw the exception. Now get all the tasks. So it will give us a list of tasks. Get all tasks, and task status. Why we need it? Because if you want to apply any filters, then we can use task status. Okay, and yeah, I guess that's it. Now let me import this list, and task update task. Okay, so here we'll take id. So which task do you want to update? Then we'll take the content which you want to update. So updated task, it's nothing but updated task, and long user id, throws exception. Okay, and delete task. So it's not gonna return anything, so let's give it void delete task. Okay, then assign to user. Okay, assign to user. Admin will assign this task to any user which you want. Okay, so which user you want to assign, give here that user id, and which task do you want to assign, give that task id. Throws exception. List of task. Assigned users task. Okay, here we'll give a user id, and it will give us all the tasks which are related to that user id, or maybe which are assigned to that user id. Okay, so user id, task status. Again, why we need task status? If you want to apply any filter, then we can do that here. Now complete task. Okay, task complete task. That means this task is done. So task ID throws exception. Alright, now let's create one repository, then we'll write the implementation of all this method. So first let's create the repository. Let's create one package repository, and I will get new class. Actually it's also be interface. So task repository. Let's extend with JB repository. JB repository. Let's give here entity name and type of the ID which are present inside entity, or maybe task. So it's nothing but long. Okay, now why we have given here long? So let's go to task, and you can see here we have ID and its type is long. That's why here we have given long, right? Now let's create implementation of our service, task service. So task service implementation implements task service. Now what I need to do is annotate with service. Let's write all the implementation. Now let's bring here repository. So private task repository, and we need to annotate it with auto wired. Okay, now let's start. First is our create task. So let's go to here. Here we'll check. If not, request user role dot equals role admin. Okay, if it is not role admin, then what we need to do? Then we are gonna throw new exception. Only admin can create a task. Only admin can create tasks. Throw new exception. Okay, all right. So we can't give this authority to other user who doesn't have a role admin. We can give only this authority to user which have a role admin. All right, now task dot set status. By default it's gonna be pending, so task status is pending. Task dot set created it local datetime dot now. All right, now let's save this task. So task repository dot save, and let's give here task. That's it. Now find task by ID. Okay, so task repository dot find by ID, or else throw Here we will use lambda symbol. So new exception, and that is nothing but task not found. Task not found with ID. Okay, that's enough, I guess. Or maybe we need to wrap. No, I guess it's fine. All right. So guys, here what we are gonna do is first we check that if task is present with the given ID, then it will return that task. But if this task is not present by this given ID, then it will throw this exception, task not found with the ID. All right. I hope you may understand. Now let's implement this get all task. Okay, so first a list of tasks, it will return us list of tasks. Now what I'm going to do is I will write here all task equal to task repository dot find all. Okay, now let's implement the filter. So guys, this task status is not required. Okay, it's not required. If user will provide this task status, then we need to filter the task, and if user didn't provide this task status, then we don't need to filter it. So it's not mandatory. Okay, you may understand like this. So now what I'm gonna do here, list of task filtered tasks equal to all task dot stream dot filter and here status equal to null, or task dot get status dot name dot equals ignore case status dot to string, and dot collect. Here we need to give collectors dot to list. Collector dot to list. That's it. Let me, here we need to give, okay, yes. So that's it guys. Let me explain this line once more. So here what we are gonna do is we are gonna use a stream. Of course, do you know basic Java? Then you know that if you want to perform any filter function on any list, then you need to use a stream dot filter, then task. So status equal to null. If our given status equal to null, then it will return true. Means it will not go to next step, and it will not perform this task, and it will not filter our task. It will directly return here true, and it will go back here, and it will return all the task without filter. Okay, but if status is not null, then it will return false. So if it return false, then it will go to here, and here it will get the task status dot name. Okay, and then it will compare with the status which are provided by user. Okay, so guys, here inside our application we have used the task status as an enum, so that's why I'm applying this to string on that. All right, now it will, if it will return true, then it will filter. If it's not, then it can ignore, and after that it will return us a filter task list. So now here we need to return that filter task list. That's enough. That's it. Okay, now let's write the logic for update task. Okay, so what we are gonna do first, let's existing task. First let's find the task by given this id. So get task by id and id. After that let's update it. So here we'll check if updated task dot get title not equal to null, then what we need to do is existing task dot set title and updated task dot get title. So guys, we'll check if user have provided the title in the front end, okay, then only we need to update. But if user didn't provide the title, that means user don't want to update the title. Okay, if user haven't provided title from front end request, that means user doesn't want to change the title of their task, so we don't need to change. But if he provided the title, that means he want to change the title of the task, so we need to change it. So that's why I have written this if condition. Now guys, we need to write all the we need to write the condition for all the fields like this. Okay, just like title. So what I'm gonna do is, let's go to here and let's go to title, update, and I will copy paste it. Let's maximize it. So let's copy all this file. Let's go to here and let's remove this. Okay, so now let me show you this. Like first I have explained this title. Now just like title is image, update task dot get image. Get image is not null, then update the image. If description is not null, then update description. If get status is not null, then update the status. And deadline is not null, then update the deadline. Okay, and yeah, that's it. Then we can save this existing task, so it will update it. All right, now let's write the implementation of delete. Task repository dot delete by it. That's it. Okay, let's do one thing. First find our task. If task is not present, that time he can throw the exception. Okay, now assign to user. This is also very easy. So what I'm gonna do first, let's find existing task, task ID I need to give here. So first we are gonna find the task by this given ID. Now let's change the status of that task. So let me write here task dot set assigned user ID and task dot set status that is nothing but task status done. Task repository dot save task. Okay, now let's find the assigned users task. So what I'm gonna do is, let's write here list of task all task equal to task repository dot guys, we need to write that method inside task repository for getting assigned users task. So let's write this. What I'm gonna do is public, it will provide us a list of tasks that are assigned to particular user. So find by assigned user ID. Okay, here I need to give long user ID. Let's import this list. Find by assigned user ID. So let's go to task and check assigned user ID. Yeah. Okay, so guys, by default JP repository given us this kind of feature, you can say. Using that you can find task by any field, like what I mean by that. So here I given find by. Okay, so first you need to give this find by, this is the same for all, and after that here you need to give the field name. So find by assigned user ID. Okay, find by title, also you can give find by description. So that kind of feature you can use here. Okay, yeah, now let's go to here and find by assigned user ID. Now here I need to give user ID. Now we need to perform the filter on this. So what I'm gonna do, I will copy this filter thing and return it. Okay, so let's go to here, just same like all tasks. All right. Now complete task. So let's implement this as well. First what we need to do is find task by ID. So task equal to get task by ID. So here I need to give task ID. Now task dot set status. Task status will be done, and let's save it now. So task repository dot save task, and that's it. Our work is done here. Okay, now let's create the controller for this. So let's create new class here, controller. First let's create one package. Controller. Now inside this package we can create task controller. task controller, and let's annotate it with a REST controller. Also let's give it here a request mapping, so API and tasks. Our all the endpoints will start from API tasks, which will write inside this controller. All right, now let's go back task service implementation, and okay, I want to just check that I have annotated with service or not. So I have already done. So let's go back task controller, and let's bring here this task service here. So private task service, and let's annotate with auto wired. All right, now let's let's create method. So public response entity, and here I need to give a task. Oh, I need to import this task, create task, create create task. Okay, let's take a request body here. Inside this request body will receive task. Also let's receive here a request header, that is nothing but authorization, and inside this header will take our JWT. Okay, now create a task. Okay, so create a task equal to task service dot create task. So inside this we need to give two things. First is task and second is requester role. So guys, here we need to give requester users role. So where we will get it? So what we can do that here, you can say we are. So guys, this we can't get from the front end, because if we pass role from the front end, then what happen, like if user who have a customer role, they can also pass admin role here. Okay, so that's why we can't take this requester role from the user. So we need to take this requester role from our database. Okay, so in our database you can you know that we have all the users stored in our database, and from that we can check which user have a admin role and which user have a customer role. So here what we can do, we are taking this JWT. Okay, so requester user, we can find the requester user using this JWT. And how? So you know that in the previous video, task user service, we have implement one controller. Let me show you that. So user controller, this controller profile. Okay, we can get the user profile by giving the JWT, just JWT. We need to just provide JWT and it will give us user profile. Okay, if we get the user profile, then we can identify its role, that this user have a admin role or a customer role. So that user role we can provide here now. Correct, that user role we can provide here. But the question is how we can bring that user method, how we can bring this method inside our task service, this method. Okay, if we want to get user profile in our task service, then we need to bring this method inside our task service. So guys, here Open Feign Client is coming to the picture. Okay, using Open Feign Client, we can communicate between our two or more microservices, like between task microservices and user microservices. So let's do this and let's check how it is possible. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, give me just 1 minute. First thing guys, we need to do is, let's go to our task user service, actually not task user service but task service, because here we want to use Open Feign Client, right? So we need to enable Open Feign Client here, enable Feign Client, enable Feign Clients. Right now here let's create one more service. So new, and it's gonna be interface, user service, okay. But we need here one user DTO. So let's create here user DTO class, user DTO, and user DTO guys is nothing but just user, all the users field. So let's go to here, let's go to user model, and let's copy all this thing. And let's go to user DTO, let's provide here, let's annotate with data. Since guys it is a DTO, we don't need to annotate with entity. Okay, so don't confuse, this is not our entity guys, this is just DTO, no args constructor. All right, now let's go to our services, user service, and here we need to annotate with Feign Client. Okay, Feign Client, and we need to give here a name of our application. So it is nothing but user service. So this is our microservice name, and here we need to give the URL, okay, on our user microservices running. So our user microservice is nothing running on localhost 501. Let's Control Z, let's copy this, let's go to here, actually not here, and let's give here URL. What is this? Okay, let's provide here. Okay, so guys, that's how you need to enable Feign Client, or maybe configure Feign Client. Just @Feign Client, then here you need to give us microservices name, and here you need to give that microservices port. Okay, that is nothing but 5001. Now here just define this method, like it will return user DTO. Okay, the method name will be get user profile, and inside we need to give request header authorize, just like actual method, and here we need to provide string JWT, and this, let's import this user DTO, and also we need to annotate this with get mapping. Okay, and here we need to provide same endpoint. So our endpoint will be API users and profile authorization. Okay, So guys, this should be same as a user services which we have used in the user controller actually. So let's go to your user controller, and here you can see our endpoint is API users then profile. Okay, same we need to use here. Same we need to use here, API users then profile. Then actually not this. Then method name will be get mapping. So here also we need to annotate with get mapping. Okay, and what are the parameters we are taking here? All these parameters we need to provide here. So yeah, that's easy guys. That much easy it is. It's not difficult. Right now we can use this user service in our task controller. So let's go to here. Now just use like your other services, just like task services. So user service, nothing much more different, nothing any difference here. It's just like working like task services. Now user service dot get user profile, and here we need to provide JWT, and that's it. Why it's telling us? So it says require type string, but it's provide a user DTO, of course. So what I'm gonna do is let's control X, let's go to here, user DTO user equal to user service dot get user profile JWT. Okay, so guys, now we have find the user. Inside that user we can get the role of that user. So user dot get role, and this exception, that's fine. That's it guys. Okay, and now we can annotate this with the post mapping, because we are creating new task here. Okay, so we need to annotate it with post mapping. Okay, and we need to return here create a task, return new response entity create a task http status dot created. Okay, now let's write method for get task by ID. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, let me copy this. Instead of post mapping, that time I'll write here get mapping. Okay, and here I need to provide ID. So get task by ID. And now let's remove this request body because we don't need it. Request header authorization JWT. Okay, now instead of this, here what I need to get task by ID. So I don't think we need it. Let me remove this, or maybe chat, and path variable. Okay, you may know guys, we can access this ID using path variable. So long ID, and here I need to provide ID. Okay, instead of create task, I can give here just task. That is fine. Now let's get assigned users task. So copy, paste it, user. Okay, assigned user task. All right. Now guys, I don't have any path variable here, so let me remove this. Instead of path variable, I have a request parameter. Okay, task status. So request parameter, and we can give require false, then task status, task status. All right, now task service dot assigned users task. Assigned users task. Okay, here we need to provide user ID and status. So user ID is nothing but user dot get ID, and status will be status. That's it. Yeah, it will return a list of tasks. So let me do this. And here I need to give tasks. Okay, so guys, here we can access the token of logged in user, and will provide that logged in user's ID to this assigned user task method. All right, so that's it. Now get all task. So let's copy this. Just get mapping, we don't need to provide here anything. Get mapping. Get all task, get all tasks. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is here get all tasks, I will give status, and that's it. Now assign tasks to user. Let's write this method, assign task to user. So let's copy this, paste it over here, and change the name. Assign task to user. Instead of put mapping, let me give here instead of get mapping, let me put here put mapping. And here I need to give ID. Okay, this task ID which you want to assign, and user ID whom you want to assign. Then assigned. Okay, so let's take path variable here. Let me remove this. Path variable long ID, path variable long and user ID. Okay, let's perform here assign to user. Assign to user. Here we need to provide what should I provide? User ID and task ID. So let's give here user ID and just ID. Also it will return only task, not list of tasks. So let me remove this. All right. Is there anything left? Task service assigned to user. First is user ID, second is task ID. Okay, that's it. Now let's update our task. So let's copy this, put it over here. Update task. Only we need to provide ID, which task you want to update. Path variable, we don't need here user ID, but we need here request body. Inside request body will receive task, whole task, okay, which user want to update. Now let's task service dot update task. Here what should I need to provide? First I need to provide ID, task ID, then update task, updated task. So which are updated tasks? That is nothing but request, and user ID. So user dot get ID. Okay, and instead of created we can give here update. So update is not, then we can use here okay. Also here we should use okay instead of created. Here also let's use okay. Get mapping, here also let's use okay. Here also let's use okay, and yeah, let it be now. All right, now our update is also done, and now let's write for delete mapping. But before the delete, let me copy this and let's write for complete task. So complete task, here we need only one path variable, that is nothing but ID. Okay, let me remove this and write here complete task. Let's give here ID. Here we don't need this, also we don't need this as well. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is let's write a delete mapping. So copy, Control V, instead of put let's delete mapping. Okay, delete task. Path variable ID, and here perform delete task ID, and it will not return anything. Okay, so what we can do is let's write here void and here http status dot no content. That's it. Why void is all right, so I guess our all the endpoints are ready to check now. Let's create one more controller. home controller, Java class, home controller. Okay, let's give a request controller. We don't need to provide any request mapping. Let's go to this controller. Let's go to get mapping, any get mapping, any yeah, let's copy this home controller, and instead of, let's provide here tasks. Okay, let's remove all this. This as well. String. What will return here? String. Welcome to Task Service. And let's rerun it. And let's run our user service as well, because guys, you know that we are using task user service, so that's why we need it. Okay, user service we are using inside our task service, so we need to run our users microservice as well. And I guess now it's ready. Okay, it's ready, but let's check this tasks. It should be also ready. Task user service. Let's do this. Oh, why task service is not? It's task controller bin method. There is already task controller bin method. What do you mean by that? There is already request mapping handler, task controller method, ambiguous mapping. I guess that will be some task controller. Let's go to here, REST controller, request mapping, auto wired. That is service. There is already task control. Okay, understand. Our one controller endpoint will repeat, and that is nothing but task and IT. So get mapping. That is port mapping. That is not. That is port mapping. UpdateTask. How is it? Okay, here. These are the same. That's why it's yelling on us. So here we need to provide complete. Okay. So guys, this endpoint and this endpoint are matched with the same mapping. That's why it's yelling on us. Now I don't think it will create any issue, so let's rerun it. Let's check. See, it's working perfectly fine. Let's run it. let's give here task, and you can see welcome to task service. Now it's time to check our APIs. So let's open our postman and check it is working or not. It should be work. So first what we are gonna do is let's logged in. It has a login success. I guess Ram have a, let's go to sign up. Pablo role customer. Ram have a role customer, right? Anyways, let's check. Copy. Let's go to environment, global. Copy, save, paste. Let's go back. Let's go to get user profile. Let's check. Yeah, Ram have a role customer, but we need a role admin. So let's create one user admin. So let's create full name Josh @gmail.com. Code with Josh. Okay, Josh @gmail.com. It has a role admin. Let's use its JWT. Copy. Let's go to environment, global, and set our variable here. Now let's go to and get profile. You can see Josh role admin. Now what we are going to do is go to task service, create task. So our endpoint is to API task, and let's create. You can see in authorization we have given token, and inside body, title, image, description, and we have given this deadline as well. So let's create it. You can see our task is created. Assigned user ID null, tax is also null, status is pending, this deadline, and this. Now let's get all the tasks. So new request. What is this new request about? Get all task. Okay, let me change the endpoint, and you can see all the tasks are coming here. All right. Now if I remove status, then it won't make any changes. But if I write here instead of assign, instead of this pending, assigned, then I guess it will be empty because we don't have any assigned task. Okay, it's already pending task we have. Now if you want to update task, you can update as well. So let's go to body. What is our task ID? So let's go to here. Task ID is 1. So let's give it 1. Here 2. We have provided JWT. Let's go to body. Create burger website. Currently what we have title, create burger website. So let's change the title. Instead of burger, let's give here coffee shop website. And you can see our title is updated. And let's go to get all task, and here also you can see our title is updated. Now let's check find by task ID. So you can see we have given the JWT. Inside body we don't need to give anything. Let's find by 2. So we have error that task not found with ID 2. Of course, let's give here 1, and you can see our task is find it. Now so guys, inside the get all task, currently you can see we have 1 task, but if I delete this task, okay, so let's delete it, and if I go to get all task, you can see now we have empty list. All right, so our all the endpoints are guys completed or maybe checked successfully. All right, it's working perfectly fine. And yeah, let me go to here, I guess. Complete task. Delete mapping is also done. Complete task. So let's check this complete task. I guess I have missed that. So let's create one task again. Okay, its status is completed. Now let's create new request. Complete task. Okay, it should be put mapping, not post, put mapping. And API task, here I need to give ID. I guess it will be 2. Yeah, 2. So let's give 2 ID. I need to give token, bearer token. And is there anything I need to do? Yes, I need to write here complete. This is the endpoint of our this method, this API. Okay, inside body we don't need to give anything. Now let's hit this, and oh, it's done. You can see our status is done now. Okay, and if I go to here all task, you can see status is done. All right, so guys, all the endpoints are checked now. All the endpoints are working perfectly fine. All right, so that's it for this video. Now let's meet in the next video. In the next video, what we are going to do is we'll implement submissions microservice. All right, so let's meet in the next video, guys.